My name is Delaney, and we asked Nick and Honest Guys Painting to paint our 1909 Craftsman home. It was a bit of a project because it had been quite some time since it had last been painted, and in addition to not looking as good as we had hoped, it also made it susceptible to damage and wood rot. And so this was kind of, we had two goals with this. The first being to protect our investment, but also to get a home that reflects who we are as people and the family that we are soon to become, and also just to give it an updated look and to, reinvigorate our property. I think right off the bat when I called Nick, he was extremely down to earth, and it didn't feel like I was calling this big name painting corporation and that I was just another customer and, a number and anonymous. It was just having a chat with literally an honest guy that was upfront with me and leveled with me and, recognized my concerns with the project and worked with me every step of the way to accomplish my goals. We take great pride in having a historic home. It was, the fun fact is it was hand built by Norwegian brothers in 1909. And so, it is something that is very important to us and something that will likely be our home for life. And so, we really wanted to restore it with this paint job. And there's a lot of, it being a craftsman, there's a lot of beautiful flourishes and details, and Honest Guys really took the time and attention were given to those details to make sure that they stand out. It wasn't kind of like a simple, spray and run away. You really had to get in there and take the time to tape it and to get it right, and they did just that. First, we considered painting the house ourselves for budgetary reasons, but also, we had some bad experiences with contractors in the past, and so we didn't necessarily trust people to work on our home, and we wanted people to work on our home that cared as much about our home as we did. And so I was, blown away and kind of flabbergasted by the amount of prep work they did. I didn't think there would be that much prep work involved, and I didn't think that, honestly, a painting company would spend that much time and care and effort into our house getting it prepped for paint, and that really made a huge difference. There's a lot of homes that get painted and, maybe in like a year or two it doesn't look as good as it did, and I really appreciated that, Nick and the guys took the time and effort to scrape the house and prep it and use the right type of primers and, even, found wood rot that we didn't find or holes that we didn't find. And, I think had we painted it ourselves, not only would it have been an incredibly, honestly, a frustrating and demoralizing experience, but it wouldn't look as good as it does now. We never thought our home would ever look this good. We honestly, every time we leave the house, before we get in the car, we just stand there and look at it and admire it and take pictures. And every time I FaceTime my mom, I'm always like, oh, do you want to look at the house? And so I'm, here I am, out in my pajamas FaceTiming my mom so she can look at the house. And so it's absolutely stunning. We take a lot of pride in it. Initially we felt, we were aware that our home was a little bit of a hodgepodge and a work in progress, or, a bit of a fixer-upper. And now, it's just incredibly fulfilling to see that, all of, our work and Nick and Honest Guys' work has culminated into something that looks sensational, and it really exceeded my expectations. I didn't think our house could look this good. I mean, I think, the name Honest Guys really speaks for itself. Honest Guys, honest pricing. We had gotten a couple bids from contractors that didn't include the level of work or the level of repairs that Honest Guys did, and they charged double or triple the price. And so in this kind of unsettled economy, we are especially sensitive to, putting, money or a large amount of money towards a project. And honestly, it was a very fair bid. And I think, if I'm 100% honest, I think Nick and the guys could have charged us a little bit more given the work that they did on the house. Nick was incredibly attentive and incredibly communicative. He would touch base with me every single day, and if there was any issue or any problem, I would give him a text or give him a call, and he would answer it, immediately, and we would, take care of it. I especially appreciated the fact that he worked around our dog's schedule and being, considerate of, the dogs, need to go out, and we were worried about, how our dogs would feel getting work done in the house, and Nick was very accommodating for that and made sure that, the guys left at the same time every day and started at the same time every day, took a break at the same time every day, and left at the same time every day. And that, from a contractor fatigue standpoint and from like a planning standpoint, it really took a lot of the burden off of us. At the end of the project, before taking any money from us, Nick made sure to walk through the property with us to make sure that we were absolutely happy. Nick has a keen eye for detail, and he wanted to make sure that the job was done right. As we were doing the walkthrough, he noticed things that I didn't even see and had the guys come through and correct it. And so we couldn't be happier with the paint job. It, exceeded our expectations by far, and, we really did not think our house could look this good. I would tell anybody looking for a painter to just stop whatever they're doing and just call Honest Guys. We had been through the gauntlet with contractors to the point where we were delaying doing the job. And, if you want I honestly wish we would have found Honest Guys sooner, because then our house would have looked as amazing as it does sooner. But if you're looking for somebody that really does treat you like family or a friend and levels with you, gives you an honest bid, communicates with you, and, really does the job to, your exact specifications, your exact customizations. We had a lot of, more nuanced bits on this house, like painting our porch ceiling blue to respect, my southern roots. We would not have gotten a paint job this good and to this quality by anybody else.